Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Luna and I make Animal Crossing videos every single week. So if you're into that, consider subscribing to join our little AC family. Today is the long awaited island tour for my Beauty and the Beast inspired island. I am super excited to finally show you guys how everything looks. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. I'm going to start by showing you guys my island map. Below you will see my dream address if you want to go ahead and tour my island with me. As you can see, I didn't do that much terraforming, which is the reason why I was able to finish this island as fast as I did. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the list of residents, starting with me, of course, Luna. Bookseller, which is where Belle gets her books. Tavern, which is technically Gaston. The Beast, Olive, Marlo, Marshall, Gaston, Pecan, Chai, Whitney, Ellie, Molly, and Elmer. Next, I want to show you guys my island flag, which is this rose glass stain design, super duper fitting for my island. Now, to start off the tour, there are 3 ways that you can go. You can either go through the bridge, go up the staircase, or head to the left side. For this video, we are going to go over the bridge, where it kind of sets the beginning of the story, where Belle gets out of the house and walks to her little town and sings this provincial life. And there is where she reads a book by the fountain, surrounded by sheeps, which is my favorite part of the scene. For the rest of the section of my island, I just want to transform it into Belle's little town and make it as cottagecore as possible, adding people selling stuff like this bakery and some seating areas just to make it look busy. Over here is where the bookseller is, which I will show you guys in a minute, but if you go over here, it will lead you to the beach. And if you keep going over here, it will lead you to the double neighborhood. I added all of my villager homes to Belle's town just to make it feel more authentic, except for Molly. Molly has her own section, which I'll show you guys later on in the video. But here is how the double neighborhood looks. Easily my favorite section. Now I'm going to head up to the bookseller so that I can show you how the area looks. For this section, I took some inspiration from the movie and I also did my own thing. So I was trying to make this area look like a little mini library, but like an area where you can come and read and just relax. I added more seating like the rocking chair and this bistro table, which by the way is my favorite item. You will see it a lot around my island. It's just classy and elegant. Now I'm going to show you the inside of the bookseller. Here is how it looks. I tried to make it look like a huge library with a bunch of wooden bookshelves and books everywhere. Now, the bookseller did not have an upstairs room, and I also didn't want to leave my upstairs empty, so I ended up transforming the upstairs into a bedroom, where once he's done with the shop, he closes it and heads upstairs to sleep or do whatever he needs to do. Now, when you leave the bookseller and head down the stairs, you are right back at my resident services. I'm going to head over to the right side so I can show you guys the rest of the town and then make a circle back to the left side of my island. I've scattered around some seating areas so that when you come here you can take some pictures. I forgot to mention this earlier, but I did leave some gifts in the front of my entrance, so when you do come here, make sure to grab those first before running around. Here is my Able Sisters shop. You can sit here and rest after doing all of that shopping. Before I show you guys the left side of my island, I'm going to head over to the right, which is over this bridge, and show you guys my campsite area. And behind my campsite is my peninsula area, which I have decorated it to match more of my campsite. And behind this is my huge rock formation, which I have just decorated with some metal chairs and tables. I wanted to change it up a bit for my rock formation and make it a little bit more elegant. And if you continue over here, it will lead you to another rock formation that you can barely see, but I added some little decorations. So now we're heading back so that I can show you all of the left side of my island. As you're heading down over here, it will lead you to 2 different sections. You can either go through here, which will lead you back to the resident services, or you can go over here. This little area is inspired by the beginning of the movie where Belle strolls down the town and Gaston goes after her, and then there's these triplets, I think, that are in love with Gaston, and you have LeFou always in the background. And as you keep going to the left, it will lead you to my Nook's Cranny, which I have transformed into into a little market. Next to my Nook's Cranny, I placed my museum. I didn't know where else to put my museum, so I ended up putting her all the way over here and included some more people out here selling some goodies and some more seating areas, of course. I was trying to make this town look super busy and full of people, which is a common theme throughout this whole little town. As we head down, you can either keep going straight or go down here, but for this video I'm going to keep going straight and make a left to go up the staircase so that I can show you guys the rest of the neighborhoods and of course Gastons Tavern. For Belle's Town, I was trying to keep it as similar as possible to the movie, but I've noticed with some of the areas and some clips you'll see them in certain areas and then when they show it again you see it in a different area, so I ended up just doing my own thing. For example, Gastons Tavern was right behind the fountain that Belle was sitting at and reading a book with all of the sheep surrounding her, but in that scene I didn't see Gastons Tavern, so I just ended up creating scenes and fitting them to tailor my island. And here is my triple neighborhood that I created so that I can fit more villagers onto one area. I really love how this turned out. I have a video on my channel with the full tutorial on how I created this area and other areas on my island. Now we're going to head back and I'm going to show you this section over here, which I almost placed Molly's house, but I got an idea for her house and ended up placing her on the other side of my island instead of here. I placed another fountain here since in the movie there was a fountain in front of the tavern. And now we're going to head to Gaston's house and Gaston's Tavern so I can show you what the tavern looks like on the inside. So here is how Gaston's Tavern looks. I tried to copy as much as I can from the movie and trying to find items that were similar to the items from the movie. I really love how this turned out. It feels very cozy and very much like I'm in a pub. And just like the bookseller, I didn't want to leave the upper room empty, so I ended up transforming it into Gaston's room. There I tried to add items that I felt were very Gastonish, if that makes sense. I added some mirrors and some paintings that look similar to Gaston, and I placed them on each side because we all know Gaston is a little bit too much in love with himself. And I added some weights because we all know that's literally the only thing he can do. Now to continue on with the tour, I created this little stall outside of Gaston's Tavern, and if you continue through this little path it will lead you to Marlowe's house. His house is super simple and cute, and there's also another entrance on this side. Now heading back, you probably already seen it, is my rose pond. I have a full tutorial on how I created this on my channel as well, but this was the coolest pond I've ever created, and it was also the hardest because I had no idea where to start. So now we are back at my entrance so that I can show you guys the left side of my island. I have this secret little pathway that will lead you to the small little waterfall with Belle here, and you can also climb down here using the vine ladder that I have set up there. But yeah, we're going to head over the bridge so I can show you my cottage core home slash Belle's home. I'm going to leave all of the beaches for last since I've created those recently. So this whole area belongs to me. In the movie, Belle's house is surrounded by a bunch of land, so I wanted to kind of take up the whole lower left side of my map and just keep it all for myself and transform it into a cottagecore dream farm. I had a lot of fun decorating this and adding pops of color flowers everywhere. I had a lot of veggies as well, so I created a little mini farm here where Belle will go and get her crops. And then going to the front of my house, I have Philippe here in the front waiting to go on an adventure. And next to my house, I have a little gate where Belle goes and feeds her sheep and chickens. We're going to come back to the beach later, but I want to show you the inside of my house. For Belle's house, the movie didn't really show much of the inside of her house. The only thing that we really saw was the living room and maybe the kitchen, so everything else was up in the air of how it would look. And so for Belle's house, I wanted it to be cozy and of course cottagecore. This is my kitchen. For my kitchen, I wanted to fill it up with vintage items and make it feel very lived in. I mostly use green items for most of my rooms. I felt like green complemented so well with the wood furniture. For the bathroom, I did things a little bit different. I wanted to add fake windows and a background. I used my favorite wallpaper, which is the Misty Garden wall, and I made the rest of the bathroom simple. For the next room, I decided to turn it into a bedroom slash study. And for me, a room filled with plants is the most calming thing ever. So I went in on the greenery for this room. For the upper room, I decided to split it in half where Marie sleeps on one side and Belle sleeps on the other. I added a third bed for Belle's mom. Although she's not here anymore, she's still here in spirit. For the basement, of course, I transformed it into Maurice's shop where he's here working on his wood chopping machine. I used the lunar lander since it's the closest thing I could find in the game that resembles the machine. And I added Belle, of course, always looking out for her dad. So now we're going to head up the staircase, which is an extension of my cottagecore farm. This is where Molly's house is, which I'll show you in a minute. But I have my little orchard here, and behind it is the spooky forest. I have a mini pumpkin patch here, and if you cross over the bridge, it will lead you to another little private area where we have some more villagers of the town here hanging around, washing their clothes, eating, of course, just relaxing because there's not really much to do in this little town. And you have a view of my river from earlier, and if you keep going straight and head down the staircase, it will lead you right back to the resident services, and it will lead you to Marshall's house, which we all know is my baby. And if you go back up and over here, there's another way to enter the spooky forest. You have a little hangout here and a nice little view of the museum. You can sit here and whip out your camera and take a picture if you want. And if you keep going along this pathway here, it will lead you right back to the entrance along with some nice views of Marshall's yard and the little secret area. So we're going to head back to my little orchard so that I can show you Molly's yard. I had this area empty for a long time, and so I decided to extend my area into her area and transform her yard into a mini farm. I really enjoyed creating her yard, and I have all of my crops beautifully lined up. And if you head over here, you'll find Maurice and Philippe before heading into the spooky forest that eventually leads them to the Beast Castle, except for the fact that Philippe left Maurice hanging. For the spooky forest, since I didn't have any smoky items or anything that would make it feel ominous, I had to use some of these spooky items from Halloween, and I used some skeletons just to add to that spooky feel. And I ended up going back and adding black flowers to make it look like they were dead flowers. And I also added a combo of the decayed trees and giant vines that I customized in the brown color just to make it look like they were dead trees. Oops. Sorry, Molly. Excuse me. Trying to get through. So this is the right side of the Beast Castle, and I decorated it with some similar items like Lumiere, Cogsworth, Mrs. Potts, and Chip. And for the rose pond, I just covered it with a bunch of pink and white flowers. And all the way at the end, I have Belle and the Beast over here with some more red roses. Super cute. And if you make your way over here, this is my little secret beach where we have Red visiting today. Now we're back at the spooky forest so that I can show you how the entrance to the Beast Castle looks. I wanted to add jail bars in the front with some castle walls, but when I did place them, I just felt like it was covering a lot of the front area, so I ended up removing them and just adding some fencing. For the Beast Castle, I wanted it to feel abandoned but still elegant, so I found this stone path that kind of looks broken up, which really fits with the whole theme. On this side, I have just a little library, and on this side, I just have a little seating area with another statue. Now we're going to head inside the Beast Castle. So for the first room is the living room, which I have transformed into the library that the Beast had given to Belle as a gift. I had a lot of fun creating this room and filling it up with as much books as possible. The second room is Belle's room, the room that the Beast prepared for her so that she can stay captive in. I used a mixture of the mermaid and cute furniture, and they go together so nicely. And next we have the kitchen where she meets Lumiere, and Mrs. Potts was being the ultimate mom. When Belle said that she was hungry, Mrs. Potts put everyone to work. In the movie, I did get a little glimpse of the kitchen, and for the parts that I didn't see, I just created my own thing. The next room is the infamous West Wing. I used the cloud flooring and the black wooden deck rugs to cover up the cloud flooring so that it can give off the smoky effect on the floor. For the rose, I used a rose wand, and I really like how it just stands up like the rose in the movie. Now we're going to head to the basement basement, which I have transformed into the Be Our Guest scene, which is one of my favorite scenes from the movie. I just love how Lumiere sings his little heart out, and I love how all of these serving carts with food just lining up for Belle. And then Belle has the iconic yellow dress on. And lastly, the upper room, I transformed it into the other iconic scene where they were in the ballroom and Belle and the Beast started dancing. You don't even want to know how many glow in the dark stickers I created and customized just for this room. So we're going to continue the tour of the Beast Castle and we're going to head through the garden. I got this idea from Disney Dreamlight Valley from the Beast Castle. He had a garden full of roses. And then heading down the staircase, I created this fountain and added it here, surrounding it with blue flowers and butterflies. Next to this area, I added a little mini library where Belle can come and read by the beach if she wanted to. And then on this side, I added Belle's winter dress and decorated the rock formation with some elegant items. I really love the Nova lights on top. You can barely see them during the day, but still really love them. And you could come here and sit down if you want. So I'm going to continue showing you guys the other parts of my beach. I split this beach in half and decorated half Elegantcore and the other half Cottagecore. For this section, I decorated it more into like this elegant cafe beach and added some of our favorite characters just lounging around. And when you get here, you can sit down, relax, drink some tea, and listen to some fancy music that maybe Lumiere is playing. And if you keep going further down here, you'll reach the Cottagecore side of my beach, and it will also lead you back to my house. For this little section of my beach, I just created someone here washing their clothes. It came out super cute. And for this little mini rock formation, I just created this little spot where maybe you want to come here and paint whatever you see in the ocean. I also have another small rock formation that I added some more little cute items to. And if you keep going further down, you'll reach the bigger part of my beach. For this area, I kind of added random small areas and connected them together using the dirt path and other small custom designs. And I say random because I created this whole area piece by piece. The only thing I knew that I wanted to add were people here working or trying to sell some stuff and just really trying to make it feel cozy. Now I'm going to head over to the beach that I have next to my airport. It's a smaller beach, so I decided to decorate it into a winery. I really love how it turned out, and the little wine label just makes the bottles look so real. I mean, just look at it. So now we're heading to the beach that's on the right side of my airport. This beach is also in front of the double neighborhood that I showed you guys earlier. I created some villagers cooking or washing their clothes. I also created this little veggie shop where you can come and buy some pumpkins or other vegetables with a cute little farmer here. This beach is just an extension of the last beach that I showed you guys, where we had all of the villagers just doing their daily tasks, working hard, because we all know Tom Nook wants his money. And then over here on this strip, I added some little seating areas for Pecan and Olive if they'd ever decided to leave their house and come here. I also wanted to add an apple orchard, which I thought about way too late, so I decided to add it here onto the beach. Is it just me or the farmer looks a little bit like Mario? And if we keep going up, I have more small rock formations. I added this chair so you can come here and take some pictures. And for the last section of this tour, I have this fruit stand, which is right next to Whitney's house. I love this little area. You can come here and get yourself a refreshing glass of fruit juice. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, let me know by hitting the like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing to join our little AC family. I will be starting my new island in the next video. I will be creating my island entrance for the first video. And for those that are new here, my new island theme will be tropical mermaid fairy core. It's a lot, but we're gonna have a lot of fun with that new theme. I love you all so much. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.